you think vinegar is just for use in the kitchen? It's not. So grab your jug of white vinegar and let me show you all the ways you can use it in the garden. The first is going to be for a DIY weed killer spray. And so you're going to want to combine white vinegar, a good squirt of dish liquid, and then you're going to add half a cup of Epsom salt. Next, you're going to want to spray it on those weeds and then come back overnight and you'll see that your weeds have died. And in my jar, I already have about a cup of water. And now I'm just going to add an equal amount of white vinegar. Place your garden tool inside. When I come back the next day, you'll see all that loose debris that's come off of my pruners. Next is all about your hummingbirds. And so if you brought your hummingbird feeder in last year and you washed it, there still might be some soapy residue in there, which we don't want the hummingbirds to ingest. So just take a little bit of white vinegar and then an equal amount of water, and then you can pour it out and do another rinse of water, and your hummingbird feeder should be good to go. If you're bringing in garden veggies or buying them from your local farmer's market, even if they haven't sprayed with pesticides, you still want to wash your fruit and vegetables. So add just a few tablespoons of vinegar to a bowl and cut it with water. Put your fruits or veggies inside and let them sit for a few minutes, swish them around. And then you can go ahead and drain them off in a colander. So here are 4 different ways to use vinegar in the garden, and I hope this was helpful for you.
Head on over to your nursery and grab some flowers. I've got some awesome tips and tricks for you.
If you're trying to clean your tools, add a little baby oil to them first. Plant as usual, weed your garden, and they'll clean right off. Another tip is fertilizing plants that you can't reach. So grab a cardboard paper tube, place it into the plant, and sprinkle the fertilizer down the tube into the plant's root system. Filling a large flower pot can get very expensive, so here's some tips and tricks for what you can do to fill them. Use bricks and rocks, plastic bottles, sticks and branches, mulch, leaves, recycled paper, magazines, pool noodles, a pizza pan. What I'll be doing for this particular flower pot is adding straw to the bottom. And then you have 2 options. Add a potted flower that's already potted into it, therefore placing a smaller pot into the larger pot, which will require a lot less dirt. Or you can remove that smaller pot and place it into the flower pot. Add some extra dirt around it and plant it as normal. When you're removing plants, right after you purchase them, give them a little squeeze and they'll come right out of the container. If you have a hole in your flower pot, place a coffee filter into the bottom. This will keep your soil into the flower pot, but allow the water to drain out. Next, plant your plants as you normally would. To water those plants, one tip I have for you is to take an old liter bottle, remove the label, fill it with water, place the cap back on top, poke a hole into the top of that cap, and give the bottle a squeeze and it will water your plants. If you're making a seed starter, plant your seeds as you normally would. Take a 2-liter bottle, cut the base off, place that 2-liter bottle on top. This acts as a terrarium, allowing your seeds to automatically be watered and grow. Save those coffee grounds, don't throw them away. Use those to fertilize your plants. You can also fertilize your plants by adding a little Epsom salt to the soil around your plants. Place any supplies you need into a bucket. I always place all of my tools and my gloves into a bucket, and then that makes for ease of carrying everything I need across the yard as I work from one place to the next.
Don't throw those milk jugs away. Take that cap and drill some holes in the top. Put some nice clear water in there, and it's great for your plants. You can see how much water you have left, and it gives you the perfect flow. Let's grab a lemon right out of the tree or off the ground. Cut it in half. You can use this after you take out the inside, and we're going to put some potting soil in there. Once you get it all filled up, put your starter in there and give it some water. Once you buried it up, it will decompose, giving it some nutrients. Perfect little starter. Now we're moving on to those plants out front. Go ahead and put some holes in there. Use a drill or a knife. Dig a hole, stick that bottle inside. All you need to do is have the cap showing. Once you get it buried up and packed in there, take the cap off, fill it with water. It's one of those slow waters, but it will get down deep inside the roots. Saves water, makes your plants look great.
Do this and you'll save yourself a trip to the grocery store. After cutting up my green onion, celery, and lettuce, I place the bottom ends into a container of clean water. I added 4 toothpicks to each of the celery and lettuce ends so they were suspended in water. I placed the food scrap containers in a warm area with lots of natural sunlight, and I replaced the water every 4 to 5 days. After about 4 weeks, I had a whole new batch of green onion, and before you know it, I'll have celery and lettuce too. The green onion was so flavorful, and it was delicious on top of our homemade double stuffed potatoes.
I had a very old and large flower pot, so I started with some Rust-Oleum spray paint in the color cement. Decided to add a gingham ribbon. Now these flower pots are really large, and it takes a lot of soil sometimes to fill these up. Grab some pool noodles. Cut the pool noodles into small sections. Place all of these sections into the flower pot, and it takes a little bit of arranging to get them into the flower pot the way you want them to look. You could stop here, or I'm going to add a pizza pan to the top of the pool noodles. The water will be able to drain around the outside edge. I add some soil to the top of the pizza pan, and then it's time to plant my flowers.
I decided that I really didn't want to spend a whole lot of money on this project, so I used whatever things I had around the house already. And then to keep the soil from coming out of the sides, we used some landscape fabric and some of those pieces of wood to hold the fabric in place. And I used some old 4x4s left over from an old playset to make planter pots. So we salvaged what we could from the old garden and pressure washed the bricks and the patio stones. And I reclaimed the sand and pebbles from the old garden to level out the walking space between boxes. And then I added more of the reclaimed soil from the old garden, planted some seeds, planted some pretty flowers because you want your garden to look pretty. And of course you want to be able to eat out of your garden, so I added some herbs as well as some tomatoes and some peppers, cucumbers, and a few other things. Now I'm no master gardener, but I have learned a few things over the years. Eggshells, for instance, can add calcium back into your soil, which is particularly good for tomatoes. Just crunch up the shells and sow them into your soil. Another way to add additional nutrients back into your soil is ashes from wood-burning logs. Now this will also raise the pH of your soil, so you wouldn't want to put it around acid-loving plants like azaleas and blueberries and strawberries, but it's really great for tomatoes and a lot of the other plants in your garden, as well as the hardwood trees in your yard. It's been a few weeks and the garden is starting to really look beautiful.
What if you don't have a lot of space, but you still want a beautiful garden area? Well, head to your local big box store and grab yourself one of those over-the-door shoe hangers. This is going to be great. So I decided to fill every other pouch instead of each one, hoping that these flowers will fill in. I'm going to place impatiens in every other one. You'll also notice that I'm staggering them, so this creates a nice little effect when it's going to hang. To hang mine, you can hang it on a door. I tried our shed door, but it was too thick. So I had this extra trellis laying around. So I propped it up to display on the trellis, and it worked out perfectly. If you're also limited for space in storing the things that you use in the garden, like seeds, or you have those packages that don't reseal or that seeds that people have given you, this great little container from the dollar store is perfect. You can easily put your seeds inside these small compartments, and I like to add a little label onto it. Put it in the holder, and there you go. You've got a great way to save your seeds and know which is which, and save some space, which is a really valuable commodity.